All right, everyone. This is your host, Paul Gaither. This is my Xbox 360 dashboard, and it's time to talk my favorite Madden, Madden 25. That's right. I know y'all love 12. I put up a video. It was like an hour and a half long. Didn't even play a game of Madden 12. Just talk 12. Love this game. I do. I think it's better than anything on the PS2. Better than 08 and all the others. I think this is better than anything on the PS2. Fight me. This is my favorite Madden. I said I've never played these three yet. I've got them on my Xbox. Still haven't played them. We're going to get there. This one's my favorite. I'm going to tell you all why. Let's watch that intro.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Yeah, with how hard he just got in, he's lucky to be able to hold on to the ball. This team is extremely active.
He's got a target for the touchdown.
All right, that's a good 25th anniversary. Having the logos of the games, I get it. I mean, I prefer Madden 08's intro. I prefer intros that get you involved in football, but there is something special about the 25th anniversary. You know, quarter of a century in, and you got the different titles of the games and the different calls in the video games and real life. So it's good stuff. I'm going to go to our hard drive. I'm going to load everything up. And it's going to mess with the audio. There it is. Get the music out the way. Look, I please recommend go watch the Madden 12 video because it has a foundation that I'm going to skip through as quickly as possible here. But I am going to mention this everything. Just loads and loads and loads. There's so much stuff to learn. Okay, so first point we got to talk about, and we're going to go quickly because I went into depth in the previous video. Old school Madden. Physical ratings, speed, agility, strength, acceleration, jumping, right? Position-specific ratings on Madden 08, Madden 05, Madden 04, whatever, on the PS2 generation. Position-specific ratings, throwing power, throwing accuracy, pass block, run block, catch, tackle, right? Things like that. That's it. On the next generation, I think starting with 08, we got a whole bunch of ratings. Like I said, I'm going to go as quickly as possible. Like, you watch the other video, I'm not going to waste your time. But we got man coverage, we got zone coverage, we got press, right? We got power moves and finesse moves for pass rushing, like power guys and finesse guys. We got block shedding in the run game. We got pursuit and play recognition, right? We got impact blocking. We got run blocking strength and footwork. We got pass blocking strength and footwork, right? We got throwing power short, medium, deep. We got press versus release. We got man coverage versus route running. We got catch in traffic versus the man and zone coverage, whichever they're using to try to break up the ball. We got spectacular catch. We got all kinds of skills and ratings. We got stiff arms and juke moves and ball carrier vision and all of that. What, again, reminder, ball carrier vision. That way, a running back can have, like, let's say, like 96 awareness. Well, it's not 96 awareness, 96 ball carrier vision, but not necessarily be like a 96 route runner. Because that's what it is on the original Xbox. It's like, if he's 96, he's 96, bro. Like, put him out wide, and he's going to, like, start dogging corners. You know, maybe not with his speed and physical attributes, but it's like, that's just route running. It's everything. Okay? That's everything. If they're good at something, they're good at everything. Because awareness. So that's important. Madden 12 is not the first one to do it. I think Madden 08 did it. Madden 25 has the same thing. Now, next step. Madden 12 added consistency, confidence, player traits, right? Utilizes the spin move, utilizes the swim move, utilizes the bull rush. Alden Smith was utilizing everything in a big hitter. Like, he was elite before he had off the field problems. He was killing it out there, okay? Justin Smith here utilizes the bull rush, doesn't utilize the other things, okay? So, this is Madden 12. I know we're playing Madden 25, but these are new for Madden 12. So, nothing new to see here. Go watch that video, get into detail. But this is foundational to our next step. This is why I made this a separate video. With everything we just said, Madden 25, look, the physics engine, I prefer Madden 12. I'm going to tell you that. I love both games. And the physics engine, like the whatever this thing was called. I don't remember what it's called right now. In Madden 13 and Madden 25. I'm not a fan of this physics engine. It looks sloppy. Okay, it does look sloppy. Well, give me Madden 12. But the other thing, Madden 12 has custom playbooks. We didn't even talk about that. Madden 25 has custom playbooks. Madden 25 is basically 12.5, right? Is the sequel to 12, with the exception of the physics engine. Because they give you cut down days. They give you all these different things in franchise mode that 12 had, and more. Okay? So we're going to go to Connected Franchise. We're going to go to Resume Offline. And we're going to go to Simulation. Because I don't want to mess with other files that I've been saving. I had my internet unplugged, so it said 2005. The game wasn't even out then. So the Xbox clock was like all messed up when I turned it on. So we load this thing up, and we're in week 17. We haven't finished the year yet. We're sim to 7 and 8, which is like not what the real life team did or whatever. I don't care. I wasn't playing the game or anything. Okay, look. This is a reason why Madden 25 is better than 12. We have storylines, right? Gathering for the occasion. The Cardinals and the 49ers will blah, blah, blah. Percy Harvin will be back from injuries. Say our goodbyes. They'll play the last game in their old stadium. We're going to a new stadium, and the news is in there. Panthers fall to the visiting Saints or whatever. Like, which, by the way, the last game at home for the 49ers was against Atlanta. And it was the pick at the stick with LeVar Bowman. So I don't know what all this is about. That was the previous week. Because now we're, like, playing our last game, like, for real. But it's got all of these news reports and things that Madden doesn't have. Okay? And it adjusts to the season, and they have topic-specific things. Look, I'm not a fan of Twitter, now called X, but who cares? We're all going to call it Twitter anyway. But they've got these tweets. And you've got these personalities from Skip Bayless and so forth, and Mark Schlereth and all that. And they write in a very similar style to the real-life people. Okay? They got their likenesses, they got their writers in, and like it's very similar style. Okay? For what they talk about. It's more immersive. And you say, yeah, but that's what all the Maddens are now. Like, I get it. It's like, yeah, this is good. Madden 12 didn't have this. It's just little stuff, but it's important. And throughout the season, they're going to give you updates on the rookie classes, whether you're importing or you're using the generated classes, right? You can practice to earn points. Now, here's a problem. You see all this experience points that you can get? I wish that Josh Lumen had made it so the computer simulates. Because look here on the description on the right, it says, play a full game, play a whatever, it's a hold the lead, whatever the situation is, third quarter tie. You're tied at the start of the third quarter. If you're the coach, your players earn 2,000 for a win and 1,000 for a loss. Like, it would be nice if the computer would simulate 1,500 points. Right? Like, they don't get the full 2,000 for a win, they don't get punished for only 1,000 for a loss, and you get all the wins. 1,500, so it mixes between like a win and a loss, and win and a loss, and win and a loss. That'd be nice. It would be so time consuming to play a 32 owner franchise and then simulate all losses. Like, if you went even to like the tightest like situation, like, I don't know, goal line stand, midway through the fourth, goal line comeback, whatever, like you find the shortest one, but you do it 32 times. Like, no, bro, I'm not doing this. The fact that the AI doesn't simulate to 1,500 points, doesn't simulate to 1,000 points, doesn't simulate to anything. It gives you an unfair advantage. Like, it exists, and it's designed with the intention of you playing online franchise mode with 31 other people, and it assumes everyone is practicing. Right? That's what it does. It assumes that. It would have been much better if the game just, like, simulated all teams get 1,500 points of practice, and you as the user get to go for 2,000 or fail and get 1,000. And you could just easily, like, if you want to do sim, like, 1 week we're going to win, next week we're going to lose, so we still got our 3,000 or whatever. Just like the computer gets 3,000 in 2 weeks, right? That would be fine with me. Right? But it's not. So it is what it is. It sucks. Okay? You get progressed players, and you can set it to weekly, every 4 weeks, end of season, whatever you like. Personally, I really do like the idea of every 4 weeks or the end of the season. Now, Here's the thing, scouting, scout players. That's why I spent so much time in the Madden full video, and that's what we're gonna look at here. We're gonna look at scouting. Now, I'm gonna tell you, this is something I both like, and it's something that I know is nerdy and boring. Like, so many of y'all go on the game because you want to play football. I get that. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that's so important to me. Scouting. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at the most basic thing that I have so much interest in right here. Defensive tackles. And I, personally, look, I'm going to scout everyone for block shedding. Everyone for block shedding. If you're a defensive tackle and you can't shed blocks, you're not going to play for me. Now, we got to back up. And we got to talk about progressing players. If you're going to manually progress players, okay, you can go in, you can grab your defensive tackles, and you can say, okay, Ian Williams here. And you can say, block shedding. Now, he's already got a high rate. Let's say you got this low-level guy, you got like 4,000 points, and you want to get him from like 62 block shedding up to 80. Like each week, like bloop, 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 spend the points, bloop, 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 spend the points, right? And get him up to 80, because 80 is like a threshold of like doing well. And then each week, like after that, you want to like do a little bit more, like get his block shedding up. And you want to teach him to do that. Is it realistic? Again, we just say like we're gonna play sim, we're gonna play realistic, we're gonna play for fun. If you're gonna play realistic, are you gonna say he goes from like 40 block shedding to like 60 block shedding in one season? You like jump him like up 20 points? Because it only costs like 38 or whatever points. Right? I don't know how much it is exactly to increase a rating. But when it's really tiny, it's like nothing. Right? This is 475, so maybe like 350 points or whatever. Right? But that's like when it's at 50, 60, whatever. Let's look at some other players here. Maybe we can look at some other players who maybe have like a lower rating. Let's look at our own team first. Because I want to talk about scouting, but I want to give you that example here, right? So let's go manage roster. Let's go roster. Because part of the benefit of these 49ers is they have some pretty good block shedding, right? 78, 83. Okay, 53. Will Tupuwa. No, block shedding is 82. Glenn Dorsey 76. Block shedding 76. All their block shedding was pretty good. Nick Moody 65. Yeah, we're gonna say Glenn Dorsey. Okay? So let's do that. Let's go progress players, manual progress players. Left in is not it, right in is not it. Defensive tackle Glenn Dorsey. Cool. Block shedding, there you go. Okay, so I thought it was like 38 points or whatever from like the 40s, but it's like, yeah, the 300s or whatever goes up to 600s, right? So you're like 625, boom, 78. Oh, it's going to cost you this? 79, right? Block shedding, it's going to cost us 830 points. So we went up 3 points. And his block shedding is still sub 80, right? And the year's almost over. So that's fine. To me, that's fine. Like, that's what he did this year. Because week 17, we're getting near the end of the season. And it cost us like 3,000, 4,000 almost, just shy of 4,000 points to get him from sub 80 to still sub 80. So next year, you know, if he continues, because we do have a base 3-4 scheme. See that says the scheme in the bottom right? So like he gets some bonus points because he matches our scheme. But maybe by the end of the year, we'll have a few more points. And that we can get that up to that 80 block shedding. So in year 2 or whatever, which I really like in player development, is you can say like, hey, look, now that you're working with the right coach and system, whatever, you came from Kansas City, now you're here with the Niners or whatever, you're a little bit older, but like now, we're going to teach you how to block shed for the rest of our crew, right? But you saw how much it costs to get up to the next level, right? So now let's look at some other guys. Let's look at like left and whatever, Raymond Thon. And let's go block shedding. Right? He's sub 90. It's going to cost him 3,500 points. Now remember, we're not doing training, right? We're not doing practice every week. So we say, okay, because I haven't progressed him at all this year. It's been simulating games. It's like you go from 88 to 89 block shedding. Okay? Now, you're going to go from 89 to 90 block shedding as we're getting closer to the playoffs. So as we get closer to the playoffs, now your base is elite. I want to get a little bit higher, but now you're becoming, over the course of this year, more elite, from good to elite. So that even if he gets on a cold streak or whatever, he'll drop down to good, right? But if he gets on a hot streak, he'll be playing as a true elite block shedder, especially going into the playoffs. Awesome. Now we're 7 and 8 or whatever. There's like finesse move, and it's like, I'm not going to waste points in finesse move. Right? Those 3,000 points, like we could have gone maybe like 10 points up or something, whatever. Because you saw it kept getting more and more expensive, right? Play recognition, hit power, pursuit, power moves, right? Like, we could have maybe backed off on the bug shedding and said, we want you to rush the passer better. We're going to invest those points in making you a better pass rusher, right? But you also see how many points it costs, and if you're not doing practice, like how many points you get to work with. So you don't just immediately go up to like have 90 plus overall players, right? It's not that easy. It's not that fast, right? So Corey Lemonnier here, he's like our top of points that has available. Power moves, am I going to increase that? No, I'm not going to waste my time. Awareness, I'm not going to waste my time. Play recognition, I might dump some points into this. I might dump a lot of points into that. And that's one of the questions, like, you're going to give him like 10 points better in play recognition suddenly throughout the course of the year? Maybe that's it. Maybe as a rookie, he came in and like every single game, every single week in practice, whatever, he's just getting better and better. Right? And maybe you're doing like every 4 weeks or whatever, you're doing a progression thing or whatever. That's what you want to do. And you could like, oh, he went up like 4, 5, 6, 7 points, whatever here. He went up that many points. He went up that many points. Okay, great. Zone coverage, whatever. Like, you could do that. Like, what do you think he got better at? What were you working on as a coach? Maybe you like spread the points out, right? Like, how you want to do your storyline of your player progression, how you want to spend the points, and where you want to put it on. So he's left outside linebacker, but we're in a 3-4. So when we play a nickel defense, he's going to be a down player, right? But we have Ahmad Brooks and we have Alden Smith. So Corey Lemonnier, he's like a backup for us. Which I also said, if you're playing this game, if you're playing Madden 25, go check out Corey Lemonnier. He's got so much skills. Like, so much skills. I told you about that in like the college game, right? But look at the bottom, acceleration, like 90, speed 85, like he's not slow, right? Gatorade development, he's just normal. Gatorade development, like you can like invest points, because at 30-something thousand, I could actually make his development go up from normal to quick development, from quick to superstar or whatever development. Like, you can do that, which it can compile. I don't like doing that, like as a house rule. It's like, he is what he is. This is like changing his potential rating from like, let's say like a C to a B to an A or whatever. It costs you a lot of points. You got to eat like a year or two like worth of all these points that you could have been developing, but then he starts earning points even faster, right? So it's like, it's kind of cheese to do it, but it is what it is. But hit power starts at 90, bro. Look at that. Play ball trait. See, if you figure that you want him, like, to be more conservative, that's the thing. Like, do you even want to spend points to be conservative? Do you want him to be aggressive going for picks? Then you're gonna have to spend points twice. You're just happy with balance. Like, you don't have to do that. I personally, I don't like changing the player traits for the most part. Again, I don't think that's so sim. It's like the player is who he is. Right, the predictability trait is how likely he is to sign the contract that you offer, is my understanding. And it already says that he's enabled. And I don't know if it says like no. I think a lot of players are on no, so I think that's what he is currently. And if I spend points, it'll be enabled yes. But this one is always confusing to me because the arrow points to no, which to me means like if I spin the points, I don't want to save this. I probably might do it to test it. But it's like, is it going to switch to yes? And that means I spin the points to become no? Because the other things tell me what it's to become on the right hand side. So I want to, like, it's enabled now, and like it's going to turn into no, and spin points to turn it off. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't like messing with that. Bull rush trait. See, that's why I think here, for some of these, like, yeah, he doesn't use swim move, right? Let's look at Corey Lemonnier, so just to be sure. It said bull rush and swim move. So that's going to answer some of our questions like live right now because I really don't remember. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to be like the one that's like giving you all this like Madden 25 information, but I've been so rusty playing last gen and doing all these other things that I've honestly forgotten some of the details. Left outside linebacker, but that's the thing, we get to check this stuff. Left click, right click. No, right click is that. View player card. Career stats, traits. Okay. Bull rush, he's currently no. Swimming's currently no. He's spin, yes. Okay. So what's his skill? Do we want? He's already spin, yes. Do we want to, let's say, focus on him being a bull rusher too, like being multi-talented, like as a bull rusher, or do we just want like the swim and spin so he can like use both of those? So let's go power moves, finesse moves. Finesse moves 90. So power moves, we don't even want to turn on bull rush, right? We don't even want to turn on bull rush. But you see those stats, like the dude has a lot of core stats that's really good. Right? So go back to progress players, manually progress players. And we say like this is a dude we want to have him play hand in the dirt on nickel and dime whenever we have like a 2-4 nickel, so the outside linebackers are down, and the dime, right? Like a 2-3 dime, right? The two outside linebackers are the edges, and we've got our 2D tackles, and we've got another linebacker off ball, right? So our linebackers are on. Like that's what we have. That's the idea, right? So we want someone that can rush the passer, but also potentially still shed blocks in the run game, right? Do we want to increase that? What do we want to increase? So we say block shedding. We say like, look, you're in the 70s, 73, 74, 75. It's still 3 points, just like the other players. Right now we gotta scroll down. It's like 400. Right? This is important. Right? It's like how many points does it take? How much effort does it take to get you from what's equivalent of like I don't know, like a C? With A, I think is like low 80s, high 90s, or high 80s, low 90s. High 80s, low 90s, I think in that range. And I think B is like low 80s, high 70s, and I think C is like 60s to 70s range. So it's like you got this block shedding, and it's like okay, well it's going to cost you some points, you know. And now we're here, and now our block shedding is 80. So now we're like a good block shedder in the run game. Now it costs us 1,000 points. It costs us 1,200 points. Right? It costs us 1,400 points. 1,500 points. No. 1,700 points to go to 85. It costs 2,000 points to go to 86. We're in the 70s. Right? Now we go to 87. Right? Now we want to go to 88. Now we're going to go to 89. He's a young man. He's not as old as some of the other players, like Glenn Dorsey and all that. 3 years already pro. This is rookie year. Right? Block shedding, go up to 90. We can afford it. Block shedding, go up to 91. We can afford it. So we can't afford it again. It's almost 5,000 points. He was sub 80. He was like 70 something, like 74 or whatever, and now he's like 91. We had a lot of experience points his rookie year, and he said, that's what we did. That's what we worked on all year. And we made you an elite block shedder. Do you like that? Do you not like that? Do you think that's not simulation? I can understand that. Like, suddenly he went from not an elite to an elite. Maybe we limit the number of points. Maybe we spread it out a little bit more. Right? We do a few different things, but it's like now he's going into the playoffs, and like that's a skill. But that's what we spent his rookie development like points on, right? Maybe he got so many points also because potentially there was an injury when I was simulating games, and so he got game experience too, and that's why he had all those points. And it's like, well, now there he is, right? And we already saw, okay, swim move was no, and bull rush was no, and the other things are yes. So the spin move is not even in here because you can't turn it off. Once it's on, you can't turn it off. But like, does he use this ability or whatever, right? So, like, how do you want to upgrade your points? Right? He's already got 90 here and 91 here. So, like, did he not get any better at his finesse moves, any more consistent? Like, let's say, yeah, okay. He's both 91 and 91 now. Like, the dude is in the elite skill, the bottom of elite. If he gets a little cold, he's just going to go to, like, the high 80s, right? But if he gets on a hot streak, he's going to play it like an extreme champ, right? So, like, that's the thing. It's like, there he is. And he's still got to pour more points to make him more consistent. And that has to do with also here, like, should you be allowed to dump points into consistency rating? I don't think that's fair. The consistency trait, 0 stars, 1 star, 2 stars, up to 4 stars. It only costs 4,000 each. It's like such a broken thing to do. To put like all your players at like super consistent, so they don't have like fluctuating skills. I don't think that's fair. I think the most I'm allowed to do, like personally in house rules, is like 1 every 2 years or something like that for your consistency. Like at the end of year 2, you can go to 1 star because you played 2 years in the league. At the end of 4 years of your career, when you're like, in the modern NFL, like with the modern CBA, like you're gonna have like your 5th-year extension or whatever, so you can have 2 stars. You get into your second contract, you get to like year 5 and 6, you can have like 3 stars out of 4 for consistency. You're in year 8, you've been in the NFL, you're a true veteran, you can have your 4 stars of consistency. Like I don't mind that. Like every 2 years you can get a star. And like the dude is like 8 years pro. I mean, he's only gonna play so much longer anyway, right? I think that's the good house rule. It's like 1 star at the end of every 2 years. It's like a good house rule. Unless you got a super player who's just like balling, right? And he's constantly on a hot streak or whatever. You want to have like an extra star a year early, but I think that's a good house rule. Okay, but you see how like I was able to upgrade a player, but it's not so easy for just anyone, right? Like it made him look easy because he had so many experience points. But you take here, age 28, age 23. He only has 240 experience. He doesn't have thousands and thousands of experience points, like tens of thousands of experience points. So it's not easy for just anyone. Here's another rookie here, right? He's only got 100 experience because he hasn't been playing. That's probably why Corey Linear had so many points. But it's like, is that how you want to jump to points? So progressing players. So I said all of that, so we get back to scouting, right? So we get back to scouting. So I go to available, and I go to scouting, and you get your scouting points each week, and you can dump them how you want. But to me, a starting point in the scouting process is I'm going to look at block shedding for everyone. I'm going to click every player. I'm going to go click, go block shedding, click. Give me a letter grade. Give me a letter grade. And with that letter grade, let me sort their ability. Because with that ability, don't even mess with me about C and lower block shedding. And maybe you disagree. Maybe you do like what we saw here with Corey Linear. And you're like, you know what? How bad is C block shedding? Right, 750 points. 75. Like, don't bother me, Paul. 75 is fine. How bad is a D? Right? 64 points. 75 is good enough for me. We can take this guy and we can get up to 80. Maybe it's a 72 or whatever. Like, we can get him up to 80 block shedding in no time, and 80 will be fine for me. Yeah, is it going to be fine for you though? Is 80 going to be enough for you? Because if he has like a cold streak or not such a good day, he's going to drop out of the 80 to 89 like threshold, right? I would rather have the B's and the A's here in block shedding and just know they're coming into the league and they know how to play. And from there, I'll start looking at other skills, okay? I'm going to see how they are as a pass rusher. So I'm going to take all the B's and above. I'm going to say, who has also got a pass rushing skill? That's also a B or better, right? First, you got to be able to block shed for me. Now, I don't care if it's power or finesse, but what do you got for me? And if you got both, that's nice too. Because we also saw offensive linemen. Sometimes offensive linemen don't have the footwork or they don't have the power move, like the strength or whatever. They're missing one or the other. So being like a dual threat is pretty nice versus someone who's like so-so, right? Who needs to work on that skill, is like a D or whatever. But if you got at least one skill, we can use it, right? And so that's what I look at here, and it's like you start to make a decision. You're like, okay, am I okay? That's part of the question. Do you want to scout these C players and see if they have like an A pass rushing move, and maybe like a 75, 72, 70, whatever block shedding, and you're like, okay, they're like an A pass rusher, but I'm going to increase their block shedding like we do for them in the A, right? As a rookie, as a backup, as a whatever, and we're going to get you some experience, and we're going to like pop that up. So you can scout based on that. You can disagree with me on my style, but you can have your own style. That's what's important. Unlike Madden 12. And at no point am I looking at potential ratings. At no point am I looking at player development ratings. Did you see me scout here by their strength? I haven't even looked at their strength rating. Now, I'm not saying that it doesn't matter, but to me, if you're playing college football, you've got to have a core amount of strength. If you're being considered by scouts for the NFL draft, you've got to have a core amount of strength. So I'm not looking for the most elite, super strong elite guy. I'm looking for guys who can play. Maybe you feel different. But I will tell you that strength costs 100 points versus block shedding costs like 38 points. It costs 750 to unlock the number. But it costs like 38 points to block here versus 100 to unlock here. You can like almost get like 3 players. Right? There's like a bigger average, like a ratio. But if you're worried about strength, maybe I would spend points on guys when I'm already unlocking other aspects, when I'm narrowing down my search. Like I'm like, okay, this guy with the B, this guy here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys. I'll spend 800 points unlocking their strength, but not everybody. Like only the guys who know how to play and have some good skills, then I'll see who's the strong guy of them, right? And while I didn't do that here, I was busy dumping my like 700 something points to unlock the other skill. It's like, let's do that, right? So quit, we can reload it, but you can sort by skills by their grades, okay? So say resume offline, sim, and I treat defensive ends the same. I like 3-4 defense. But even if you want a pass rushing 4-3 defense, like I'm still gonna focus on guys who can be a threat in the run game. To me, that is vital. Like if you're gonna get pushed around like shopping carts in the run game, like I don't want you on my team. Like, I do not want to waste my time with y'all. So it's the same thing. Let's go available. Let's go defensive ends. And you'll notice the same thing. It's like block shedding comes first. After block shedding is pass rushing moves. And you notice I only unlock the scheme of players who have at least B across the board in either one pass rushing move. Like you must have B or better in block shedding. You must have B or better in at least one pass rushing move. And then I'll unlock their scheme and see if we fit my team there. Right? So we're going to look at defensive tackles. We're going to look at block shedding. Actually, we can sort by scheme because I already did that. It's the same thing. I can say, what's your strength? B. Okay. B. Let's go to the bottom and work our way back up. C. C. B. C. So it's like now you can go like this and you're like, okay, look, I'm gonna narrow this thing down even more. Like I don't even want the guys with the C strength. Like the C strength, unless we absolutely have to. But where's the projection? 4, 6, 2, okay. So this could be later rounds, maybe because they don't have as much strength. Where are these guys? The one below us and then all the ones above us. 1, 1, 3, and 6, and 5. So we're probably not even going to be able to draft these first rounders. Probably won't even be there. But the 3, 6, and 5s, like round 3, round 5, and round 6, those are more likely guys that we're going to be able to find. Okay? So what are we looking at here? Like across the board. Like, they've got a B block shedding, they've got a B pass rushing move, they got B strength. Right? He's got B tackling versus the others. Right? I don't have to look at your potential. I can just look at all of this and I can say, look, his tackle ratings are B, his other ratings are B, they're all B's, and he's at the top of the 5th round, so we need to get him in the 4th round, right? If we need to make a move in the 4th round to probably go get this guy, he is going to be like a primary target for me. We need to make a move. Top, middle of the 4th, whatever, like we want to get him before anyone else does. If we're drafting at the bottom of the 4th, it's not good enough for me. We're going to go up like the middle of the 4th or something. We need to make a package deal together, whatever. And that's what we want. We're not a 4-3 defense, so we're a 3-4 defense. Do we really care? Maybe nobody fits our team. Maybe we want to switch to a 4-3 or whatever, but maybe no one really fits our team. Maybe this is just a good guy for some other team, for some other trial. He's 20 years old. He's got those skills as like a foundation, and then he can go up and become like a really talented player. Right? Maybe he's going to be like a good player for someone else. Okay? But you can do the same thing across the board. The block shedding, the power moves, the finesse moves, the strength, the tackle. Like, you can go after those different things. Right? I only looked at 2 players. Only 2 players out of right in that even like got my interest. And why? B block shedding, A power moves, B finesse moves, B power moves. And who are they? Undrafted and 2nd round. Like, this might be our 1st round pick if we're at the bottom of the 2nd, or sorry, bottom of the 1st, wherever we are. Like, I mean, yeah, we're 7 and 8, so we're gonna be a higher pick. But like, let's say we have a Super Bowl team. Because this team is like almost Super Bowl quality, but in real life they lost to the Seahawks in the championship game. So let's say we have the same. We're like, pick 28, not 32, we're like pick 28, whatever. Like, we might go get this guy. But we also have a pretty darn good guy over here as well that's considered to be undrafted. Is he elite? No, he's 23. He's 3 years older. So you have a much younger guy. You have 3 more years of development, and he's behind. Right? There's like the positive and negatives. He could be just a good backup. Mr. Irrelevant. Right? Someone to look at, though. Like, just a solid backup could be. And again, we're not a 4-3 defense, so it doesn't matter what we did anyway. But if you were a 4-3 defense, you might want to look at this guy. Right? As a 7th round pick, as someone, maybe instead of getting a free agent, you take this guy. Okay? B power moves, B block shedding, not the best tackler, like he's a development player. Maybe you go into practice mode. Maybe you want to go into practice mode. But that's the other thing. All the points that you do and you put into players, they're going to become more expensive when it comes to contract day. So, and then you just won't be able to afford them. But you can develop your players. Maybe you want to play practice every week. Even if you lose practice, you get your 1,000 points, you get 1,600 points every year, whatever. I don't know. It's how you want to play the game. But you see how you can scout to what you want. But the same thing, the linebackers. It's like, okay, they're going to go up against tight ends. So I need to make sure that they can shed the blocks of tight ends and fullbacks, right? Maybe, depending on the alignment, they're going to go up against a left tackle or a right tackle. Right? Like the back side and on a weak side run. Right? They're going to go up against. So like, I want to make sure a guy that can shed a block that can also rush the passer. Right? Whether it's a 3-4, 4-3, you're going to play under or over. You're still going to rush the passer. So I want to make sure that they got, decent block shedding moves and decent pass rushing moves, right? So it's like, if I scout, I think I scout everyone on their pass rushing moves. No, I didn't scout everyone. I didn't do any of these players with decent Fs and block shedding because I think that wasted my time. But the rest, hey, a C block shedding. Remember, they're going up against tight ends. They don't have to be like a defensive lineman. They can still be C. They still do well. But I don't want them to be C in like pass rushing moves, right? So we've got like B, B, and A, like in finesse moves. Or everyone else is just like C, and we need to be like, what? No, there's 2 guys that got my attention. So who's good at pursuit? He's not as good at pursuit. Play recognition's average. His coverage is so, like, whatever. Right? Like, this might not be a bad player for a late round, but where is it? Where are they projected? Ooh, 1st round versus 7th round, right? Like, top 10 pick. No wonder. Hey, we found a top 10 pick, and looks like he's going to be a good player. Right? But the other guy, we found someone. We found a potential project that fits our defense. Well, we're not zone blitz, we're like base 3. We found a 22-year-old that's, maybe we pick with the 6th round that we develop behind our other players. We get them a little bit better. We pick one of their moves to get better at, or we improve their block shedding, or their play recognition. We teach them more about football. We get them better, whatever. But they have some skills, right? Like we can target them later in the round. That's how we're organizing. That's how we're targeting. Okay. Corners. You think I'm going to care about block shedding for corners? Not really. One of my core things I want to look at is play recognition. Do they understand the game? Right? Or you can say their man coverage skills, their corners. Cover 5 is too high, man under. Who knows how to cover? If you can't cover in man, then don't waste my time, right? And I told you before, play recognition is the true zone, right? So it's let's say, who's both good at man coverage and play recognition? Because the zone coverage is breaking up the ball already. It's suddenly you're hey, you can break up the ball in zone if we needed to. You got decent. It's not terrible, but we got these B and A tacklers, or we got some tacklers here. Ooh, look at that. We got B man coverage, B zone coverage, B play recognition and press. Pretty good, pretty good. He's a good tackler, solid tackler, 6'2". All of that. Let's look at this guy. 2nd round, bottom of the 1st. That's a target. That's a true target, right? And 3-4 defense kind of guy, 20 years old. That's a target. And it's that's how you look at the stuff. You start sorting their letter grades, and you start identifying okay, I like this, I don't like that. And you start looking at their abilities, and it's these first rounders, they're not even the most appealing to us. And then it's Tampa 2, base 3-4 kind of fits. Play recognition is solid, man coverage is solid. Press isn't as much, not such good tacklers, an okay tackler. Do you really want to spend a high round pick on that? Maybe, maybe not. If you're picking 24th, do you want this guy or do you want this guy? Do we want 219 or do we want 124? Do we trade down? If we're at 23 or 24, do we trade down because we know we can still get this guy, sometime in the top 10 of the 2nd round? Make it an exchange so someone else can go up or whatever, and we still get our guy, and we get some value. I showed you that in Madden 12. Throw in some 5th rounders or whatever, a future 4th, I don't know, whatever. You make a swap, you trade down, you still target your guy. This guy's also really good, but you want this one. Then you go get your guy, and you also got some value in return, in exchange. This guy is supposed to be undrafted. What's his deal? man coverage, play recognition and press are not that good. He's a good tackler. Maybe he's undrafted. If you got some 7s, you got 2 or 3 7th round draft picks. Maybe you take a dude. Maybe you take a dude and you just develop him. You try to say, again, like I said, you go to practice mode and you start dumping points into these guys. And, by year 3, year 4, whatever, he can step in and you've had your other players and you've been developing this guy who was an undrafted dude, and he shows up, in year 3, year 4 of your team, and suddenly he's your nickel corner or whatever. Because you put some points into him. You put some time in there. Right? This is how you find your draft steals. I'm not saying he's a draft steal specifically, but that's how you do it. That's what you look for. You want to know what else I look for? I like to have fun, offensive line. Look, don't know about this run blocking footwork and all that stuff, if whether it works or not. It's I look here. Can you run block for me? Because running the football is so important to me. If you can't run block for me, don't waste my time. But because it's so few players and it's so inexpensive, I think 38 points, maybe it's 75 points, but it's not too expensive, it's not too many players, I just check everything. And it's look, he can't pass block, D, really? D? You kidding me? And what's your impact block if you're gonna come off the edge, if you're gonna pull or whatever, you're gonna be on the screen. So okay. What kind of offense do you like? Power run. Well, that's what our team technically is with the 49ers. Vertical offense, that's not what we are. You're not the perfect fit for us. You're also 23 years old, you're 3 years behind these other players. But maybe one of these two, where they're going to be drafted first, second round, top 5. Yeah, we're never going to see you. Maybe we don't spend as many points because we know we're never going to see you. But maybe here, maybe we got something here, right? Not the best pass blocker. We already have Joe Staley as our left tackle. Maybe we have him as our backup. Maybe we develop him. And when it's time for Joe Staley to retire, if he's like a 5th-year pro or whatever, he's been, 24, 25 years old, he's been backing up and he's had some chances and, he's got a good base of run blocking and impact blocking or whatever. Maybe you find someone that you like and you're like, okay, give me the strength rating, bro. See, ooh, I don't like that from an offensive lineman. I don't want to spend such a high draft pick there, right? He fits our scheme and all that, but do I really want to draft that high? Ooh, I mean, is that the end-all break-all? I don't know. You got to make a decision. But you do the same thing here, right? It's okay, this was sorting by run blocking. Okay? And we're okay, who's good? Well, these 4 are the ones that I put. We don't have a zone run or a power run offense in our team specifically, but let's say we like someone. The pass blocking is the only good one, West Coast, 3rd round, top of the 3rd, so bottom of the 2nd. We got to build a draft board. 49ers are known for West Coast, but we're technically power run with Harbaugh. So we said, what's the strength rating? Ooh, that's solid. It's not a liability. It's not a C or a D. It's not elite. It's not an A. It's not going to be the most elite guy, but hey, it's something, right? What's your toughness? What's your whatever, right? Whatever. What's your injury rating? What's your whatever? Right? You can look at it and you're this might be a dude. Now, the Niners have Michael Potty, right? They're not looking to get rid of a position. Maybe they're looking for right guard. Maybe you can move him to right guard. Maybe start him at right guard, whatever it is. But is he a target you want? Right? And based on what criteria, is he a good fit for your team? We want a power run. So maybe he's not. Maybe we don't waste as many points. Right now our team is a power run team. It's a center. Jonathan Goodwin is getting older. In real life, the 49ers have to go after center, after center, after center. So I've already organized. It's okay, run block. I already organized impact blocking and all that, and that's why I got my my scheme, right? So it's we go scheme and it's ooh, we're power run, right? A run block, C pass block, but A impact blocking. Okay, that's not as big, but A impact blocking. And he fits our scheme. And he's got okay strength. He's on somebody's first round pick. 2nd round, yeah, he could be a lot better for us than some of the other guys we saw, right? The guy's he fits our scheme. He's going to get bonus points for developing him. So we might have our 1st round pick already lined up, and we got a 2nd round pick that we have our eyes on, potentially. And it's someone who's going to be a little bit of a liability in the pass game. That's maybe when we need to develop our points in. And we let them rest on the impact blocking and run blocking. We don't develop those as much. And we just get them better at pass pro. We give them up to a C to a D or whatever, right? We develop a guy. So you can do the same thing with the other guards and the other tackles and so forth. So, tight ends. Similar. Tight ends, they're on the end of the line. And for me, if you're a tight end and you can't run block, you don't belong on the team. Okay? You need to be able to run block. Now, we saw C, what that means, right? What the range is, in the 75s or whatever it could be in the C's. So 75s to 80s or whatever. So D is not enough. It's not enough. D and F, it's not good enough for it. Maybe it is for you. Maybe you feel, this is a constant theme, that you're going to take the points that the player has in development. You're okay, you maybe not be a good blocker, but we're going to, in camp, and each year we're going to work on that. We're going to develop your run blocking ability. Right? Maybe that's your thing. Right? Progress players. Manually progress players. Now let's go tight ends. Let's say Vance McDonald. And we're going to say pass block, run block. See how many points it costs? Go from 61 to 62. 1,800 points. You can't even go up. Be aware of that. Be aware of that. Scouting for B players. B aware of that, huh? Skill, tight end. So for me, it's like, look, you don't need to know how to run block because I can't even begin to invest points on you if you're not a good run blocker. And I think the 60s or the 70s, or the senior in the 70s, these are the 80s, these are 90s, or low 90s, high 80s. These are like mid to low 80s. These are maybe high 70s or mid to low 70s, right? But I don't want no one in the 60s. That's a waste of my time, right? And it's like, I'm not saying it has to be like who's an impact blocker, because I didn't like do any of the other skills, did I? Right here, yeah, okay, that's fine. Like who can be an impact blocker against a tight end or whatever. But it's like you need to have a certain skill level for me to look at other things. And that is, how good are you as a route runner against linebackers? How good are you at catching the ball and holding on to it like a contested pass against linebackers and safeties? Now I'm going to throw a post. It's going to be like over a linebacker between safeties. Are you going to hang on to that thing? I'm going to throw an out route. I'm going to throw a slant, whatever. Like you're going to catch it and then you're going to get hit. So can you hang on to it? So can you run block and can you catch in traffic? Right? How well do you run routes? Whatever. So catch in traffic. We do the ascending order, G to C to D, all that. Like there's one person who's both a good run blocker and pass catcher. Like a true like B, 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 B across the board, C regular catching. Here we got C, C, C with B catching. So we got like two true targets, right? Here, Ferguson, and here, Gardet. Gardet and Ferguson. They're both first rounders. Of course they are. Of course they're first rounders. They have like all the skills. Are you surprised? Are you not entertained? It's like, so maybe there's not a guy that we need. Out of these four that we've really like looked at, of these four, three of them are first rounders, the other's fourth rounder. Is the fourth rounder power run if it's our offense? Is a run blocker. He's at least got the foundation that we're looking for, right? He's at least a B run blocker. He fits our scheme. He's 6'5". He's like probably in the 70s of catching, probably of the 70s here. Probably not such a good route runner. Maybe we develop those route running skills or those other skills maybe somewhere, somehow, sometime. But bottom of the fourth. So either we're picking that low or we're picking the third. Oh, do we really want to pick there? Like, doesn't mean we have to. Okay? What does it cost to improve our tight ends route running and other things like that? Catching traffic, he's in the 70s, it doesn't cost a lot. Catch rating, a bit more, right? What about route running? Did I already miss that? Probably. Yeah, route running. So you can survive with like a C route running and like increase them without too much of a cost, right? So you need to go for like run blockers and you can be okay with like C's and B's in the other skills, right? That tells you something right there. Like running routes against linebackers who don't exactly have the highest man coverage rating as it is. So beating them in route running and their ability to catch the ball in traffic, their ability to hang on to it and not drop it, right? Don't drop it like it's hot. So it's like that's tight ends. And you know what? It's the same for me with wide receivers. I look at it exactly the same. Like, I'm from that school. If your wide receiver can't run block for you, it doesn't belong on the field because I need all 10 other players or all 9 other players blocking for me. The quarterback's not going to block for me. The runner's not going to block for himself, right? That's 2 players that aren't going to be blocking. The other 9 guys need to be blocking their butts off because they got 11 defenders out there, and we got 9 guys blocking. We need to get the maximum value out of those 9 guys. Okay? Now, the run blocking rating, you're not going to see Bs. And you're not going to see a single B. But you need to be a C for me. You're not going to get a B run block. Okay, it's not going to happen. but you need to be a C run blocker. I just accidentally clicked on return while I was clicking through. But it's like, I need to filter who are the F and D run blockers. Get out of my sight. Give me the C run blockers, and from the C run blockers, only them will I take you seriously. Right? Only then am I going to look at who can run routes. Because to me, that's the thing. Maybe routes and release, but like, who can run routes? Who's good off the ball? Who can run routes? Right? It's like, well, these guys don't know how to run routes. You're a wide receiver and you can't run routes? Get out of here. You need to be able to run block. You need to be willing to run block. You need to know how to run a dang route. Okay? C's in the 70s. It's not good. Okay? For a wide receiver in the 70s of route running, you're going to go up against like a nickel or something? Like, come on. You need to be able to play ball. So at least give me like B route running. Give me like high 70s, low 80s route running. Give me something. It's like, okay, who can run routes? Okay. I can kind of teach you how to run routes if you're good at other things, but you need to be able to catch the ball or catch in traffic. You need to hang on to it and all that. And that leaves us with these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players, right? None of them fit our offense. And who's going where? Third, second, first, second. Like, that's interesting. You're going to target like top 5, like we ain't going to see him. Maybe, like, that's why you start building your draft board, right? You start noting down who's the player, who's the round, who's available, who fits our offense better, who's a power run offense, who's a zone run offense, who's a balance, who's a vertical. What kind of offense are you running? Who fits your offense? Who are your targets? Where are they supposed to be? And you build a draft board in a notebook on paper. And you don't have to sort by potential. You don't have to go to some draft guide and cheat where are the good players with high rated by whatever. Like, no, you can scout. Use your scouting points. But you don't have to burn all your scouting points on all these things. Right? This is just my perspective. This is how I like to do it. If you're like, no, I'm looking for that next Randy Moss at 6'4" guy with high speed or whatever, I'm going to look at guys who are like 6'4", right? Like, show me guys who are 6'4", 6'3", 6'5". Like, show me these 6'6" guys. I'm going to look at all the tall guys. I'm going to sort their speed. Give me a fast tall guy, and I'm going to see if they can jump. That's how you want to play it. Cool. Remember, Tyreek Hill is like, what, 5'10", 5'11"? So maybe you're like that. You're like, hey, I'm looking for that next Tyreek Hill. Remember, Hill was not highly drafted. Maybe you got this guy over here. I don't know how much it costs to unlock the speed of a wide receiver. It's probably not points, right? Speed's 1,000 points, bro. Speed's 1,000 points. You're gonna spend 1,000 points on speed? I don't think so. This is that last guy that you're like, I need to know. I need to know. Right? You're like, here are my guys. And it's like, I'm gonna narrow it down. Right? And you're like, look, I'm not picking in the 5th. I'm probably not picking here. Like, I don't know, maybe you got one of these guys. This guy, that guy. Okay, we'll do up 1,000 points. Let me see, is he fast or not? Is he fast or not? Like 1,000, 2,000 points. Like, that's all I'm gonna spend my 2,000 points in my last week of my scouting. This guy, that guy. Like, but you narrowed your board down, right? Who can run block? Who can run routes? What is their offensive scheme? Does it fit me? Are we balanced offense? Because we're balanced offense. It's like, one of these guys could be good, right? Decent catch in traffic. You know, not the best route running. They can run block, but they can play for us. But if they got like C speed or whatever, it's like, whoa, bro, get out of here. You need like B or more speed, B to A speed, right? There's like the filters that you need to apply, right? You're like, what's going to make the decision? It's going to be our first round pick or not? It's going to be our third round pick. It's going to be our second round pick. We need wide receiver, right? You get the idea? So what about fullback? To me, same thing. Fullback, tight end, wide receiver, same philosophy across the board. Add in pass block. You've got to be able to run block for me. And I want to see if you can run routes in the passing game, if you can catch the ball and be a threat. Kyle Juszczyk, bro. Tom Rathman in the 80s. Right? Mike Allstott was basically a running back turned fullback, right? He's a fullback that pretty much carried the ball. Like, when you think of Mike Allstott, you don't think of the great blocks he threw. You think of the times he ran the ball, right? When you think of great blockers, you think of Lorenzo Neal, okay? But as a Niner fan, it's like Fred Beasley caught the ball. Like William Floyd caught the ball. But it's like Tom Rathman, Kyle Juszczyk, both running 44s. Like guys that could run block like beasts, and then were somewhat threats in the passing game. You could check down, throw to the flats, throw an angle route like in Texas. So those are the kind of guys that I'm going to go look for, right? And it's like what I found: power run, fits our scheme, undrafted, could be a steal, age 23, fits our scheme. Doesn't have it's not D or F catching. There's F catching. It's not the best. Everybody's like a nobody pick though. Not the greatest blocker though. Not the greatest blocker though, right? That's a problem. Okay, fits our scheme. What about the other two guys? Other two guys, route running is a B. Pass blocking is a B. They can at least pass protect. They can do something in the run game. Okay, here's some B blockers. B blocker. But they're just F in catching. Ugh. Maybe as a blocker. But I just cannot catch the ball for me. And then these B catchers of the football, they're like see it run blocking. These are see it run blocking. Be it pass blocking. He might be a guy to target. Sorry. Here, be it catching CNC. Like, maybe. Didn't even look at it. Maybe it's worth looking at. What's your scheme? Balanced offense doesn't fit. You get the idea, like, you start identifying, like, who's going to fit our offense. Right? How about running backs? You want to hear how I look at running backs? I look at speed at the end because that is important. But to me, one of the things is like ball carrier vision, especially for the storytelling aspect. It's like, look, bro, if you can't read a hole, if you're like Trent Richardson, get out of my face. I don't need no Trent Richardson. Okay? Like, I need guys that can read the hole in the zone. I need guys that can just read it. Beast Mode said, just read it. So, tell me guys who have instincts, who study film and know how to play the position. Like in general, I don't like this, like the C rating, whatever. I generally like the B ball carrier vision. You say, yeah, but if you're user controlling, who cares? Oh, I get it. We're just talking about storytelling reasons. It's not the only way you have to do it. But it's like, okay, ball carrier vision. And now that you got ball carrier vision, like, can you hang on to the football? Okay? Now I need to see that. Maybe I'm not both at the same time, so you can see maybe if I'm wrong. It's like, you need to have vision and don't fumble. Okay? You need to have vision and don't fumble. And you can see one of the things I had here was like elusiveness. Right? Like who did I not scout? Ball carrier vision. I didn't even bother with carry in the D ball carrier visions. Didn't even bother. At least C, because I think B and C, there was no A ball carrier vision. So I said, okay, B and C, but D, I'm not going to bother. D, I'm not going to bother. So carrying, you're C at carrying? Or you're going to put it on the turf? No, that's my second filter. No, I don't want no C ball carriers. I don't want no D ball carrier vision. So, yeah, carry is my second filter for sure. Now, after that, then was elusiveness. Right? And it's like, I need elusive ball carriers. Now, I don't know why I did these C elusiveness guys, just maybe to check them in general. And now you can see like who I actually scouted. Their agility, their acceleration, not their core speed yet, not everyone. But who's got agility, who's got acceleration, who's got elusiveness, who can truck and spin, like who's got skills with the ball, who can catch, who can run routes out of the backfield or whatever, right? Who can pass block in shotgun. Like none of y'all can pass block, well at least you got some. D can't pass block, maybe he's good at something else, whatever. We'll figure it out. We'll do your skills. We'll see if anyone fits the team. No one really fits it. Maybe Mr. West Coast, whatever. And you start looking at other things, and it's like, okay, well, if we sort by here, what are the other great filters? We didn't even look at agility acceleration except for a few of these guys here, right? So we're like, okay, A, speed, B, acceleration, B, agility, B, elusiveness, B, ball carrier vision, B, carry. He's not really a trucker, 6'1", 199. Not the most trucking or stiff arm. He can spin though, he can juke, he can catch, he can run routes. Right? Like, he's got some skills at 6'1". He's a first round pick. Right? But we got these picks here, 4th and 3rd round. Like, bottom of the 2nd, middle, bottom of the 3rd, middle, top of the 4th, whatever. Look at these two guys. You say, hey, B speed. He's pretty agile. Like, he's not going to be like a super burner. But he doesn't have acceleration at all. So he can make cuts. Like, he's got some speed, some agility. Can't really have any vision. Yeah, so no, get out of my face with that. And the other two, are they first rounders? Yeah, they're first rounders. So what I'm really saying is, like, I'm looking at this closer and I'm like, A, agility, he can make cuts. Throws elusive. I like that. He's got ball carrier vision and carrying. This one's not so elusive. Right? His acceleration's not there, but he can make cuts. He can make reads. He can read the zone. He's not going to truck anyone. Okay? He can catch the ball. He's not going to be a great route runner, but he'll catch it when I throw it to him. Not the best of players. A little guy. But if we're taking a 4th rounder, let's say we need like a 2nd or 3rd running back or whatever, not bad. Especially for West Coast, right? I mean, he's not some star, but he can fit our system, right? One cut, zone running, good vision, good elusiveness, like to shake a guy just straight up. Maybe shake the first tackler or whatever in space with an angle, I don't know. Catch the ball out of the backfield, just be a contributor. Right? And it's not too high of a draft pick. Goes on the board. Right? I write it down in my little chart. 4th round, pick 18. We want to be above that. Trotter, halfback. Right? You build your board. So, I mean, kickers and punters, obviously, it's kicking accuracy and all of that, right? So power kicking accuracy, right? You want to know how I do quarterbacks? If you want to know, I'll do that too. I mean, you can see the scheme that I have or whatever. I don't even remember right now. Oh yeah, accuracy. Throwing power, accuracy short, all of that. Play action, speed, all of that. Do we have just regular throw accuracy? I thought we have regular throw accuracy. Short, medium, deep, run, play action, awareness. We don't have base accuracy. Is it not in this list? Yeah, we got throw accuracy, B. But it's not showing up as a base thing? That's kind of weird. It looks like I just scouted everyone's short, medium, deep accuracy. It looks like that's what I did. And it's like, look, the most important thing for me is medium accuracy. And okay, we can't throw maybe the most accurate deep balls. But we need to be good at the medium accuracy. And we find this guy. And you're like, well, we gotta know. 4th round. 6'2", 230. Age 21. Spread offense. But when we sorted accuracy, A, across the board. A, throwing power. Kid got a gun. He's not going to throw on the run. Which is kind of important to the West Coast to have to play action and be able to throw on the run. But he got play action skills. He got accuracy. He got throw power. Doesn't have the most awareness, but nobody really does. Ooh. And he's got all these skills and we can work on awareness. We can teach him the position. Ooh, we got ourselves a steal right here. You might like trade up to the top of the 4th round or whatever to get this guy. You might 3rd round this guy. You might reach in 3rd round. I'm not saying he's great. They give him a 96 of size. They give him a good size rating. They give him a good production rating. He doesn't fit our offense. We're not a spread offense. If you're a spread offense and you see this kid, it's like, ooh, you got something in this kid, don't you? No one else competes. No one else has that accuracy. These other guys have the kids with at least the B and the A accuracy also have A throwing power. But their play action is not an A like him. Like his ability, like you run the ball and then you can play action and make people fight and like pass the ball around all around the yard. Reese looks really good out of Central Michigan, huh? And it's like you gotta take the time. And you put him on the list and maybe you put an asterisk by it. Like 423 asterisk, go up, reach for this guy, go get this dude. Okay? And you build your draft board. And maybe you use your extra points to scout player traits. Maybe you scout other things, the personality. You scout different things for your storytelling purposes. Okay? But the scouting makes all the difference. Who you going to build in your team? You take everything that's great about 12, except for maybe the physics engine because it changed it. You take all the other good things about 12 and you add in this adaptive progression instead of just by potential. So you can just say auto progress players, let the computer do it. You can manually progress it how you want to develop your players. You have control as a user. You have control in scouting. You have control in progression. You have control in your playbook. You have control in so many factors. And we haven't even talked about schemes, right? And how you want to rate your players, right? Offensive, defensive playbook, that's just for practice mode. That doesn't mean anything. Like, ignore that. Don't worry about that. What kind of offense are you running? Zone run, West Coast spread? Like, what are you? You have to choose something for offense because that's going to affect all your players. What are you going to use? And I believe power run is what Jim Harbaugh has as default. And I set it to zone run because I wanted to switch to a zone running team. But I believe they start as power run. And that affects like our progression for players too. Like I think that's one of the reasons why whenever you saw me go to progress players and I wasn't like had a bunch of offensive players with points, is because a lot of my players are based, especially my offensive line, are based on power runs. They weren't getting maximum progression points. But you have base 3-4, attacking 3-4. What's the difference? Whatever. I mean, technically it's just a name. There is a meaning for that, but it doesn't matter in terms of just like what kind of scheme you officially want your players to be. My understanding is attacking is more zone blitz, like Pittsburgh Steelers zone blitz, and base 3-4 you're going to have like man and zone without a bunch of zone blitzes, right? And the same thing with like it says zone blitzing 3-4 though, so maybe not. I don't know what their official definition is, but you got to find what kind of players you want most on your team. Zone blitzing 3-4 is, yeah, it's got to be like the Steelers, right? So what is the functional difference of that? I don't know. And I still think that if you have 3-4 versus 4-3, and then you can have like multiple hybrid front, there's many players like that too. You got to find what kind of defense. 3-4, 4-3. Tampa 2 is part of the 43. Multiple hybrid front can be both. What do you want to be, and what kind of players are you going to target? And this is how the game is going to evaluate the overall rating of your players. So if I give it something different, it's going to change Colin Kaepernick's overall. Right now he's listed on mobile, and it says the overall is going to be weighted on their speed and throw on the run and agility, right? West Coast is going to be short accuracy and mobility, which I think is like going to be like throw on the run, or maybe just his agility, acceleration, speed stuff. Strong arm is the elite arm strength, pocket passer, of course higher accuracy and arm strength. Balance and all of that, mobile. None of them have like the play action skill. That's something they do. One cut runners is acceleration and ball carrier vision. Receiving back is the elusiveness and catching. Speed back is speed acceleration, power, strength, and sharpening. Balance is speed acceleration, agility. So ball carrier vision and acceleration. That's the thing. I talk about agility. Acceleration, just going from a dead stop to the fastest speed is important. Fullback, like runner receiver, blocker. I like runner receiver. Like what kind of wide receivers are you looking for? What kind of tight ends are you looking for? What kind of run blocking offensive line? What kind of defensive guys are you doing? And you get to mess with all of that. What kind of players you want to have? Because that's going to affect how the overall is viewed on your team, but it also impacts how the overall is viewed on other teams. So when you go to the trade block, when you go to free agency, like whenever the computer is trying to draft and do its depth chart, different teams have different strategies, and so they're going to evaluate players differently on different models. Okay? And that gives extra depth that doesn't exist in Madden 12. To me, that's like a super important thing, and I'm just saying here at the end, but hopefully you're listening to all of this because hopefully you find my ideas important enough to listen. Glad you're here if you are. Coaching strategy, player progression, scouting, like so many things is why this game appeals to me, because none of this stuff is on the field. On the field gameplay is fun. It's fun. Madden 12 might be a little bit more fun, but if we want to talk about on the field gameplay, like go play on Pro Football 2K8. Like Madden's not going to hold a candle to on the field gameplay to 2K8. Like if you want the best on the field gameplay, play 2K8. You want the best franchise mode because 2K doesn't even have a franchise; it's got a single season. 2K5, you can play 2K5 for franchise mode. If you like that, cool. I'm not going to dog on you, but like it's just not there. It's not the strength of the game. The strength of Madden is franchise mode, and I think this has the best franchise mode. Like, hands down. Now, I might change my tune when I play 16 and 17 or whatever, 15, 16, 17. Maybe I'll like those games even more, but I never played them. But I can tell you this one was good enough for me. This one kept me interested for years. It was Madden 12 with extra stuff. And the fact that you can import draft classes from from NCAA 14. Like, the last NCAA game, like, you can't import in 15, 16, 17. That's why Madden 25 is probably the best. Is it also works with NCAA. And you can scout real players because you have the real names and you have the draft classes. And you go year after year. And in Operation Sports, people have like year after year of draft classes. Right? This is 14 is the year 2013. So 14, 15, so the 13th season, which you can do anything about the draft class already. But NCAA 14 is going to be really the 2014 draft class. So 14, 15, 16, 17. So you get 4 years in, and you're going to have the draft class with like Christian McCaffrey and Patrick Mahomes and all that. Now, it's not going to look like Patrick Mahomes, right? Because it's going to be like the community, Operation Sports community of draft classes. And like, it's not going to have a space, it's not going to have CMC space, it's not going to have George Kittle space. I mean, as a Niner fan, it's not going to have Jimmy Garoppolo space and all that. Even if they have it available, they may not because Eastern Illinois isn't even in the game for Jimmy Garoppolo or whatever. But it's like you're going to have those years where it's like you can have those guys. And you saw me if you watch my video of playing, what was it? NCAA 14 is DeForest Buckner, Eric Armstead, like those guys are the Niners really drafted or whatever. Like, I can draft them. If I pick that low or whatever, and I got the opportunity and they develop, because also remember, Buckner was like a defensive end that wasn't rated so high, but it's like you can get these guys with their names. You can scout them. Maybe they don't scout out to be the players that we want them to be. That's the other thing. Like you get hung up on names, but it's like you got to scout their abilities. It's like, oh, I drafted this dude. I drafted this guy. It's like, yeah, well, he's not that guy because this video game is the fake version. Or whatever. He doesn't live up to like what you expected in real life. He is, right? Which is also why I kind of like the handcrafted rookie classes by Josh Lumen. It's because you're not stuck on a name. You're just stuck on like the abilities and how you want to build a team, right? So you can go either way. But the fact is that you can import draft classes in this game. You've got the schemes. You've got all this stuff. To me, that's way more important than customizing the price of hot dogs, customizing the stadium, customizing an NFL logo so I can have, you know, some shitpost team. Okay? Like, when I turn on Madden, I don't turn on Madden to make non-NFL teams be in the NFL, right? Like, I can respect Soft Drink TV and the grind that he puts into making them shows, but I don't put Madden on so I can make the Sarasota Seamen in the NFL. Like, that's a shitpost team. And it's a fun video and it's funny and blah blah blah, but it's like, you can't come at me saying that like Madden 08 is like the best Madden game, it's got the best franchise mode. Look at my shitpost team. That's why franchise is so good. Like, bro, if you want a shitpost, go shitpost in All Pro Football 2K. The game full of fake teams, right? Like, I'm not here to like start drama. I'm just saying, it's like, if you want to talk best franchise mode, isn't the point to be realistic? Isn't the point to have multiple ways you can build a team? Do you want to build a team like the Colts with like edge rushers and all of that? Do you want to build a team like the Niners? It's like a front seven that just like stout against the run and forces you to pass or whatever. Like the Steelers, like Blitzburg with zone blitzing, and you have your playbook, be a zone blitzing playbook, and guys that can do that. Like, build the team the way you want to, and the game supports multiple ways of building teams. Okay, that's what's so great. It has multiple strategies and ways, and there is no one single best way. You have multiple approaches and multiple paths to success with different rosters and strategies and different scouting approaches. Right? That's what's so beautiful, is there's not one correct way, one default way. And yeah, there is cheese ways. People talk about like, well, you trade for the fast rookies and then you go and play in practice and you win every practice and then you spend all your points on the development so they have superstar development and then you put them at this, that, and it's like a whole literal thing of how to like cheese the most cheese out of your franchise. Well, you can do it. And I read that. Like, Operation Sports was like 25 plus pages or whatever about franchise mode. And it's like, listening to these dudes who are like, well, you can do this and this and this and not, because you can do like these 18 different things, and it's just like crazy, you know, what you can do online, and I get it, I understand. Like, in the online franchise, you can do this, that, and this, and it's like, well, dude, if you're in a 32 team franchise, and they're letting you trade for those rookies, then like, who are these other coaches that don't know what's going on, that already have the X, Y, and Z player on their team that are rookies with all this speed? Right? Like, who's giving these guys away? Or you're playing a 5-man, an 8-man franchise, and you're just ripping off the other teams, the computer teams, whatever. Like, that's up to you and your buddies of how you play. And I think there's even a commissioner of the league that can approve or not approve trades if they're like, yeah, no, this dude is just trying to cheat. Right? Like, you can have commissioner rules and like say practice is banned. Anyone who gets practice points, whatever, is kicked out of the league or whatever. You can do house rules. You can play against the computer and just not be cheese. Or pick what you think is and isn't cheese, right? It's up to you. But options, availability, that's what's nice. Maybe there's a way to like hard turn things off or whatever. Like, don't come at me with like, oh, because of this, and this, you can cheese it. Like, when I'm talking about cheese, I showed you Madden 12 cheese. Madden 12 cheese was way worse. You just scout by potential and just draft all the high potential guys and like rip the computer off in trades. And you saw my Bills team, you didn't even see the team itself. The team was ridiculous. Just a bunch of low-cost rookies that are A and B potential superstars. I don't spend any money because their contracts and their rookie deals or whatever, and just flip them over, let them progress into 90-something stars and win the Super Bowl every year. It's so dumb. It's cheese. Like, you have to, like, don't pretend like Madden 12 don't have cheese. Madden 12 is as cheesy as it gets. Especially because the scouting is trash in Madden 12. Like, I'll say it. It's a hill I'll die on. It's garbage, it's useless. Scouting in this game is fun. Because you have so many different strategies on how to build your team, on how to scout your players, on how to build your board. Handcrafted rookies or imported. Like, that is the foundation of the franchise to me. I've said it in writing, say it here. You've got a series of play now games called the regular season. You get through them. You get through the playoffs and the Super Bowl, however that plays out for you. You go to the offseason, players retire. You deal with contracts, re-signing, which also there's in-season negotiations. You don't see it right here, but I've had to negotiate with Antoine Bolden. I've had to negotiate with Terrell Brown, the corner. I've had to negotiate with Dante Whitner, the safety. I had to negotiate with like a right guard or whatever. Like I had guys to negotiate in season before we get to the off season, because if you don't negotiate with them or you don't get a deal done, they will say like no. They'll say we don't want to re-sign with you in the off season because we wanted to talk to you during the season. And you've got to manage your cap and your situation, in your owner mode. You got to do that. You got to say finances or whatever. You got to look at your staffing of your roster. I think maybe it's here, manage roster, salaries. Like, you got to look at it and pay attention when you're making those negotiations during the season, if you can afford it going into the offseason or not. Okay? But there's in-season negotiations. There's trade block. The computer will put players on the trade block, alert you that players are on the trade block. You can make offers. You can delegate. You can say no. And then the computer might trade with itself, and you'll say, like, oh, this team split that player to this team or whatever, because it has scheme and coaching, so it has evaluation for players. Like, I played a Jags franchise. I put MJD, Maurice Jones-Drew, on the trade block, and you know who gave me the best offer? The Raiders, the team that really went after MJD a year before it happened. The game was like, yeah, based on strategy and coaching and all that, what Josh Lumen and all of them put together, they're like, yeah, the Raiders are probably a good fit for MJD. And he went there. Many times that I simulate or play a franchise mode with any team, other than the Patriots, because then I could just re-sign him, Aqib Talib is let go after the first season. And he's constantly given a good offer by guess what team? The Broncos, the team that really signed him in real life a year after this game came out, in that exact offseason. Like, it predicts multiple legitimate moves. Like, a team isn't going to keep him and this team is going to get him. Like, a year ahead of time. You could have almost, like, gone to Vegas and laid bets based on what Madden 25 was saying after you simulate 1 year, and probably done, like, okay. No, I'm probably exaggerating on that. But it did predict real things, bro. It predicted real things like contract moves and stuff. Multiple things come true. Time and time again, run it for yourself, you'll see it. You can't promise it'll do it 100 times, like 100 out of 100, but I've seen it multiple times. It's good. That's what franchise is. Franchise is the stuff off the field. On the field is the gameplay. Playbooks, scheme, slider settings, whatever. Player ratings. But franchise mode is off the field. Franchise mode is the news stories, the rookies, the trade block. And that's the other thing. You can put a player on the trade block. The next week it says gathering offers. And it will gather offers from around the league. And you can look at those offers and you can pick which one you want. Instead of going into manually, I'm going to trade player and I'm going to offer this guy and that guy and that guy and this guy and this guy and that guy or whatever. Until they get the meter like this and like that, and until I find the best deal. It's like, no. Go to trade block, put the dude up for trade, see who comes back to you with what offer and accept it. Go into the draft and don't sit there like I did in Madden 12, like I was just showing it off. Don't sit there and thumb through all the teams and do all that. Like, no. You go into the draft, you set it to slow. If you want to trade up, it has a button that says trade up, and you got to make a deal. But if you're not making a deal to trade up, okay, then make a deal to trade down. Now, you can package some deals together and make some movements, but usually trades happen on draft day when the draft's happening. You don't see GMs like flipping picks, like trading cards, like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic Gathering players trading cards on the side. Just like, oh, I got this, or you got the Charizard, oh, I got the Blue Eyes White Dragon, oh, I got the Black Lotus, whatever. Like, no. That's not how it is. Like, most teams, they make the moves on the phone on draft day. We're looking to move up, we're looking to move down. Maybe they have some conversations, hey, this guy's gone, this guy's not here. The guy we were waiting for got picked early, or, look, I think our guy's going to fall, or whatever. You know, we make a move on draft day on the phone, and you can do that on draft day in this game. It literally says, hey, trade down, and it'll gather offers. You can still manually trade if you want. It doesn't stop you. But you know what's better than Madden 12? Is you actually have to give up more. You don't have to have a house rule. You have to give up more to get it. You cannot exploit the AI the way I was exploiting the AI on Madden 12. Like, you actually have to give up more, right? You can't just go crazy. You can still do pretty good. But you can't go absolutely crazy like you can in Madden 12 with fair trades. You have to give the computer something no matter what. So you don't just come out of like a huge net positive year after year and just steamroll into like a massive positive value. You always have to give up something more than what you're getting. And then they'll accept deals, which is better. So you're not just like raking it in. But it also has that feature, just click, trade down. Here are your offers. You've got to calculate, is it a good or a bad offer? If it's a good offer, you want to take it. If it's not, you don't. Maybe you stay where you're at because you can't find a good deal with a good partner, which happens in real life, and you just got to stick where you are and take the trade. Or take a bad deal, like maybe it's not the most optimal deal, but you take what you can get, the least of the bad offers or whatever. But you can do that. That's what's so great about this game. You can adjust it to what you like, and you can have your own storytelling. Okay? So, none of that is physically playing the game. But it's why I love Madden 25. We're at over an hour and a half. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for spending your time with me. Like, I appreciate it. That's why I put my time in for you. And I'll see you next time.